We have hundreds of women work with us every year, and they all have the same problem. They all find that they cannot lose weight despite their best efforts. They're all in this age range of late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. They all have the same goals, but the solution is different for all of them because the underlying causes, the combination of things that are coming together to cause their stubborn weight is different. So the solution looks different for them. Now, one of the best things about doing personalized functional testing is that it cuts out the guesswork. It helps us to establish very quickly where there are imbalances and therefore specific interventions that will help to address those imbalances and bring your body back into balance. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Thriving Metabolism podcast. I'm Louise Digby, your host, and I'm a registered nutritional therapist and female weight loss expert. And I help women to release the stubborn weight after 40 without restrictive diets or spending all their time in the kitchen or the gym. So if that sounds good to you, then keep on listening. Today, we're going to be digging into the hidden imbalances that drive stubborn weight. If you've ever listened to anything that I've done before, then you'll probably know that there's a lot more to weight loss than just calories in versus calories out. And I talk a lot about how it's the imbalances in your body that really impact your hormones and your metabolism. And it's your hormones and metabolism that ultimately control whether we're in fat storage or fat burning. So I really want to get into talking about those hidden imbalances today, because these are things that you're not necessarily going to know about, hence the word hidden. These are things that when you go to the doctors, you might have some tests done and you might be told everything's normal, but they haven't really dug down into these imbalances that I'm referring to. And they're more just doing a general check to make sure that the basics are working. Your liver and your kidneys are working. Your thyroid's working at a very basic level. You're generally well and alive. But what we need to do is dig down much deeper than that. We don't just want to look at, are you normal? We want to look at, are you optimal? Are the systems in your body running optimally? And this is really important because all these systems, your digestive system, your detoxification system, your hormones, these all impact your metabolism. So that is what we're going to be digging into today. Now, I want to emphasize the fact that all of this is especially important for women over the age of 40, because these systems in our bodies and these imbalances are more likely to occur after the age of 40 because of the changes that your body's going through, the changes with hormones and how your body is gradually starting to produce fewer sex hormones. You know, it's a very disruptive balance. And so it's something that makes it more likely that you're going to develop imbalances in your stress hormones and your gut health and inflammation levels and all sorts of things. So you're more likely to develop imbalances at this time. And as I said, these are all imbalances that impact your weight management. So we really need to be getting into these things, especially after 40, in order to be able to lose weight effectively and sustainably. Just counting calories isn't going to cut it, because when you cut calories, it doesn't address these imbalances. If anything, it can make them worse. So that can be one of the reasons why when you're at the gym every day and you're cutting back and you're eating really clean, you're still not seeing results, or you may even be gaining weight. Now, in my work with my clients, I used personalized functional tests so that we can dig down into these imbalances that get missed with your typical doctor's tests. These tests look at the way your body is functioning. They look at the systems in your body and whether they're functioning optimally. And to give you a very brief explanation of how they actually do that, some of the tests that we use will look at the waste products that are coming out of your body via your urine. because every process that happens in your body, whether it's bacteria breaking down some fiber in your gut, or whether it's some protein being burned for fuel in your mitochondria, or fat being burned, or whether it's your liver detoxing a pesticide, or whatever it might be, every process in the body produces waste products. And then we eliminate those waste products via our urine. And looking at those waste products, which are known as organic acids, the levels and the patterns in those waste products help us to understand whether you're functioning optimally, whether certain areas need more support, and also, whether certain areas might be lacking in nutrients, or whether you have a higher demand for certain nutrients than your average person. We see these recommended daily amounts on supplements when it comes to vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, but that's a very generalized recommendation. And what I see in my clients is a really great variability in the amount of nutrients required. And that can change over time. And a common trend that I tend to see is a very high demand for B vitamins, because B vitamins are involved in many different processes in the body, particularly hormone balancing and detoxification. So if you're liver is struggling to detox the toxins and your hormones efficiently, not because your liver's unhealthy, but perhaps because it's lacking nutrients, then adding in B vitamins, for example, it could be any number of nutrients, but it may be that adding in B vitamins is something that can optimize that function and help you to detox those hormones and toxins more efficiently. So that's the power of functional testing. It really helps us to look at you as an individual, not just compare you to the norm, but look at what nutrients and what changes need to happen for your body to function optimally. Now, with the test that we use, we're looking at multiple systems at once, because no system works in isolation. Your gut isn't just doing its thing over here, and then your nervous system is doing its thing over here, and your detoxification system is doing its thing over here. These all work together. They're very much intertwined. And so when we look at systems together and we look at the patterns in the results, it helps us to understand you as an individual much, much better. And it helps us to piece together why these imbalances might be there in the first place. When we look at these patterns and we also add in things like medical history and symptom patterns, we can get a very good understanding of why you might have developed imbalances. And that is absolutely critical to be able to address those imbalances at the root, so that we're not just sticking a plaster over it. We're not just adding in a supplement to top you up forevermore. Instead, we're addressing the imbalance so that you function more optimally. Maybe it's that your gut bacteria becomes better balanced and you absorb your nutrients better, so you don't need to take high dose supplements to meet those demands that your body has, because you're able to absorb nutrients from your food better. So that's just one example of the many different ways that we can optimize your health and get to the root cause of some of these imbalances. To bring it back to weight loss specifically, your gut health and your thyroid health and even your stress markers, they all really play a significant part in weight management, and they all have quite a big knock-on effect on each other. If your gut isn't functioning optimally, and if you're not absorbing nutrients properly, and maybe some inflammation is being generated because of imbalances in the gut bacteria, all of that is going to have a knock-on effect on your thyroid and also your sex hormone production, because we need raw materials to make hormones. We need proteins and fats and vitamins and minerals. So if we're not absorbing well, immediately we're on the back foot. We're not going to be producing our hormones as efficiently as we could be. If there's inflammation that's being produced from the gut or coming from anywhere else, then that affects the signaling of our hormones. It affects the way that the hormones communicate with our cells. So that can mean that they don't do the job that they're supposed to do. And then equally, if your gut isn't eliminating hormones properly, if you're not having a bowel movement every day or maybe even twice a day, then hormones can get reabsorbed into circulation, which causes disruption to the delicate balance. So the gut is absolutely critical. And then I mentioned stress markers as well. And your stress hormones can be very disruptive because they can drive inflammation, but also they can knock the sex hormones out of balance. They can suppress the thyroid function. And so we have to look at all these things together to understand why. Why is your thyroid underfunctioning? Why are your sex hormones all over the place? And one of the things that I talk about all the time is how imbalances in our hormones, yes, hormones are very important for weight management, but imbalances in our hormones are still just a symptom, and they are driven by these other imbalances in the gut, in the liver, in the immune system, and inflammation. So when I talk about uncovering these hidden imbalances, that's what I'm talking about. It's going deeper than just saying, oh, you've got a hormone imbalance. Now, one of the best things about doing personalized functional testing is that it cuts out the guesswork. It helps us to establish very quickly where there are imbalances and therefore specific interventions that will help to address those imbalances and bring your body back into balance. And the amazing thing about that is that it saves you so much time and it saves you so much energy. When you're reading and researching about how do I balance my hormones, or how do I lose weight after 40, or those various things that you may well have Googled, when you're researching, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of different things you could do. You'll likely see things come up about eating more protein and loads of different things about exercise and loads of different things about supplements. Take a turmeric supplement, take a phytoestrogen supplement, take a multivitamin, take a probiotic, and I could go on and on. There's so many different supplements that you could potentially be taking. There's so many different foods that you could potentially be adding in. So many different diets that claim to help with weight loss or hormones. You could go down the road of keto or fasting or just low carb or maybe carnivore or all these different diets. And you could be doing so many different things, but you are uniquely you, and all of these other things are a one size fits all, and your approach is going to look different to everybody else's approach. We have hundreds of women work with us every year, and they all have the same problem. They all find that they cannot lose weight despite their best efforts. They're all in this age range of late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And so, they all have the same problem and they all have the same goals, but the solution is different for all of them because the underlying causes, the combination of things that are coming together to cause their stubborn weight is different. It's a different combination of things. So the solution looks different for them. And if they'd had to have figured that out on their own, based on trial and error, they would still be trying now. It takes a long time to figure things out and to truly get an understanding of what works and what doesn't without using testing. It's almost impossible to do. It's almost like a lifelong journey because you've kind of only got to change one thing at a time to be able to understand what impact that one thing has. If you're changing lots of things at once, then you're never any the wiser because you don't know what's working and what's not. And as I say, that can take a hell of a long time to figure out. So one of the amazing things about testing is that it really removes a lot of that guesswork and it helps us to narrow down, okay, this is what we need to focus on. We need to do X, Y, and Z to address these imbalances. We know that your body has a really high demand for these nutrients, these antioxidants, and that we need to focus on these systems in the body. And we can do that with a simple step-by-step plan and get you from A to B without all the trial and error, without trying all these things that actually aren't going to be relevant to you or impactful to you. And also without spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on supplements that just aren't what your body needs right now. So, whilst it can be an investment up front, actually you can save a lot of money over the years by not forking out for supplements that aren't going to do anything for you or could even be harmful for you. It's never really talked about how actually some supplements are harmful for us. Not everyone can tolerate all supplements. Green tea is actually one that is a good example. For some people, they have a genetic anomaly, which means that green tea can basically affect one of the processes in their body. So it leads to disruption and they feel worse having it. And when you look at the research on green tea, there is so much good stuff about it. This isn't to say that green tea is bad, but we just have to look at the individual. Is it good for you as an individual? Now, whenever I talk about functional testing, the question I always get is, well, can I not just go to my doctors and get these tests? And unfortunately, the answer is no. The tests that the doctors do, they definitely have their place. They are helpful, but they are not going to give you the depth of information that you need to be able to address these hidden imbalances. It's really all about catching those early metabolic shifts and imbalances before they become a bigger issue. And, these things don't show up on the doctor's tests because they are really looking for disease. And the thyroid is a really good example of this. When you go to the doctors to have your thyroid checked, they only really look at your TSH. Sometimes they look at your T4 as well. But I cannot tell you how often I run a more advanced thyroid test on my clients to find that their T4 and the TSH are normal, the ones that the doctors test, but the other markers, the T3, the free T3, the antibodies, they're all out of balance. And those are the ones that really matter. Those are the ones that really impact the way that your body functions. And your thyroid controls the speed of your metabolism and fat burning. So it's very important. And many, many women are being told that, your thyroid's normal when actually it's really not. Whether they're on medication for their thyroid function or not, you may well have been told that your thyroid was under functioning, been prescribed levothyroxine, and then told, okay, everything's fine from there. But that doesn't mean that your body's actually utilizing that medication and converting it in the way that it should be. There's many women that are on T4 and still don't feel their best. They still feel fatigued. They're still struggling with stubborn weight. And that could be because we need to look deeper than just that T4 level. We need to look at the T3 and the antibodies as well. Now, maybe you're thinking, okay, Louise, now I know the importance of personalized testing, but the other thing that I don't know is what specific aspects about my body do I test? What markers do I have to know about? So if you're feeling like the weight loss journey can be a little bit of a maze, I totally get it. That's why I created my Reignite Your Metabolism ebook. It's a 3-step weight loss guide for women over 40. And, I want this journey to feel light and doable and, dare I say it, even enjoyable. Imagine moving forwards without the overwhelm, with a guide that has all the essentials laid out in one place just for you. I've packed in only the information you need, no fluff, no complicated steps. You can focus on the things that really matter for a sustainable, empowering weight loss journey. I've got your back every step of the way because my goal is to make this feel easy, doable, and part of your everyday life without the stress. And honestly, I'm excited for you. This guide is all about helping you reclaim your energy and confidence with clarity so that you feel lighter, not just physically, but mentally too. So if you're ready to step into that feeling, everything you need is waiting for you in Reignite Your Metabolism. Let's make this happen. We actually extended the promo of 50% off. So just use the code now40 in order to get 50% off your ebook. So you can click the link in the show notes or head to louisedigbynutrition.com/ebook40. And to those of you who've already picked up the ebook, congratulations and thank you. You've taken the first step towards really empowering yourself and understanding your body more deeply. Take your time going through each section. It's designed to be simple and straightforward so that you can dive right in and start making changes that matter. Trust me, it's an easy read and every page brings you closer to your goals. Remember, every step you take brings you closer to the healthier, more energized version of yourself. So take that first step, whether it's picking up the ebook or adding in one simple food to your meals or just listening in here each week. You have the power to create the change that you want, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Let's make this journey one that you're proud of starting today. Thanks again for joining me today. I really hope that you found this session useful. And if you're enjoying the podcast, then please do head to iTunes and leave a review and make sure you hit follow and subscribe wherever it is that you listen. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one.